Hola, hello. Amazon, give us flash briefing.
Jamie, here's your flash briefing.
Holy cow, you're loud this morning.
In NPR News.
Live from NPR News, I'm Corbett Coleman. An enormous storm system is cutting across the eastern U.S. The rain and snow bands stretch from the Great Lakes down to the Florida Gulf Coast. The weather system has triggered winter storm and blizzard conditions from Nebraska to Michigan. There have been deadly tornadoes in the south that have killed 3 people in Louisiana.
Deadly tornadoes?
The White House says the federal government is accelerating efforts to combat the coronavirus with the winter months approaching. NPR's Asma Khalid reports cases of COVID-19 are once again rising in the U.S.
Starting today, people can once again order free at-home COVID tests from the government that'll be mailed
If you weren't taking that free at-home COVID test, you wouldn't even know you had it. You'd be like, a cold.
Per household at covidtest.gov.
A bad cold, a worse
The White House
cold.
is also issuing specific
No
guidance
cold.
to nursing homes and long-term care facilities and stating larger percentages of high-risk individuals. The White House has repeatedly asked Congress for additional COVID aid money, but those requests have
Go
been
ahead,
rejected.
get your
A
COVID
senior
shot and
administration
boosters.
official
It's only
said the money for
12%
this winter's
effective
plan
now, and the
came from
number
already
keeps going
existing legislation
down.
that was passed in March of 2021. Asma Khalid, NPR News.
Today is the last of the 3-day U.S.-Africa Summit in Washington, D.C. President Biden has been meeting with dozens of African heads of state. The Biden administration is signing a raft of agreements with African nations on issues from security to climate
Raft
change.
of agreements.
Massachusetts
with
Democratic
African
Senator
nations,
Elizabeth Warren is introducing legislation.
interesting.
She is seeking to make cryptocurrency firms follow the same rules against money laundering that other financial firms do.
Keep in mind, this money
Yeah,
laundering
follow the
is
same rules. Do as we say, not as we
worst
do.
criminal organizations in the world.
The only criminal organization we want is the United States
The
federal
legislation is
government.
co-sponsored by Kansas Republican
do as we
Senator
say, no
Roger
criminal
Marshall. Comments
organizations,
came at
not
a
as
Senate
we
hearing
do.
looking into the bankrupt crypto exchange firm FTX. NASA says a planned spacewalk outside of the International Space Station today has been called off. From member
Hey,
station
there will be no
WMFE,
spacewalking.
Brendan
I know we've
Byrne
been talking about it
reports
for
the
months.
ground teams are evaluating
No
the leak
spacewalking.
that's coming from a docked Russian spacecraft.
Teams in Moscow are evaluating an unexplained fluid leak from a docked Soyuz spacecraft, which transported 2 Russian cosmonauts and 1 American astronaut to the station
We
in
got a
September.
fluid leak.
The
We're
leak
not
led
walking
to
out
the
and checking it.
cancellation of the spacewalk.
We're just gonna
and
let
it's
it leak
unclear
out
when 2 cosmonauts will
into
venture
space.
outside the station to finish work to move a radiator
okay.
from an
2 of them are
older
gonna go
Russian
work on
module
it.
to a newer science module, which
And then we'll
arrived
walk
at the station
later.
last summer.
That's what it is.
NASA says ground teams are evaluating the potential impacts to the integrity of the Soyuz spacecraft, which is the ride home for the 2 cosmonauts and 1 U.S. astronaut. There are currently 7 people living and working on the International Space Station.
They're
For
not
NPR News, I'm
alone.
Brendan Byrne in Orlando.
This is
And if the
NPR
craft
News.
can't make it back, we'll send another craft
The
for 'em.
Senate is expected to vote on a short-term spending bill today. It's needed to beat a Friday deadline, or the federal government will run out of spending money. The House passed it yesterday.
The federal government will run out of spending money if they don't get more money from the public. How gullible do you think we are, you
The United Nations says
morons?
Russia has destroyed half of Ukraine's energy infrastructure. Lisa Schlein reports from Geneva. Millions of Ukrainians without heat and water.
You don't need to tell a joke today.
Deaths.
They
Temperatures
covered it
drop
in the
below
news.
freezing.
The situation is particularly
Oh, let's hear the
perilous for more than
situation.
10 million people living near the front line. UN Development Program
okay.
representative in Ukraine, Jacques Auxilier, says
Ukraine.
helping people to keep warm during the winter is critical.
How to keep, for instance, just powers on in hospitals, in schools, in community
Power on.
centers,
Money's
keeping
not going to
people
help you keep
warm
the power
as a
on.
matter of life and death
Power
at the
goes out the
moment.
same time
Auxilier
every year,
says
don't it?
the UN is distributing blankets, cooking stoves, and heating equipment. It's setting up shelters where people can go for emergency support. People who have no electricity can charge their phones at the shelters, relax, and warm up. For NPR News, I'm Lisa Schlein in Geneva.
A trial will move forward
okay.
in California against a man accused of attacking Paul Pelosi, the husband of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. David DePape is accused of breaking into the Pelosi's San Francisco home and attacking Paul Pelosi with a hammer. DePape has pleaded not guilty to state
They
and
told the
federal
cop at the
charges.
front door, Pelosi
On Wall
said,
Street before the open,
no, everything's
stocks are
fine.
sharply
And went
lower.
back into there
This is
and got
NPR
attacked.
News.
So I don't know what
Support for
happened
this
there,
podcast
but
and the
some
following
kind of
message come from the
communication error.
NPR Wine Club. With wines inspired by NPR, like Weekend Edition Cabernet and Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me Zinfandel. Available
Yeah,
to
let's
adults
go with Don't
21
Tell
or
Me.
older.
Amazon.
More at NPR.
Skip that commercial.
In weather.
Thank you.
In Seattle, it's 33 degrees Fahrenheit with cloudy skies. Today, you can look for intermittent clouds, with a high of 44 degrees and a low of 29 degrees. From NASA. NASA has selected Canada Global Protection, LLC, of Chantilly, Virginia, to receive the NASA Protective Services Eastern Region contract. That's all for your flash briefing.
That's all for your flash briefing. What was the hat? That's funny. Okay. Well, there's an alarm going off somewhere. All right, have a great day, everybody.